All right. So my name is Richard. I work for Evolution. Before then, I used to work for a base metal, the consolidated tin mines. So that was my very previous role, and I've had a few roles as a database person and also as a geologist, and have a bit of experience with resource geology as well. Yeah. So we'll have a quick overview. I will do a little bit of introduction and then move on to talk about the resource database and look at data visualization and talk about artificial intelligence. And then, I just want to let everyone know this is good. Ask questions or contribute. Yes, so for the resource databases, and we will look at how to derive the most value of the resource database, which is the same as the geology or the geoscientific information these days. And we also look at the new trend in the geological information management system and look briefly at the future, where we should be going. I hope we will get some good discussion at the end of the day. So this, if you could see the screen, this is basically an introduction about what the functions or the importance or the part that the GIMS or the what we call the geological or geoscientific information management system plays. So before you make a discovery, you need geochemical data. It could be soil data, it could be rock chips. You need, if you have available some drilling data, whether RAB, RC, or diamond, you need to put all that together into a system. And so this very level from the data to the information. So information is basically what you derive from the data, So you make your decisions based on the information that you get. It could be geophysical information, and you make your interpretation to determine whether there is a possible discovery there or not. So this is the first and the basic principle of determining whether you have something of economic importance in the first place. Yeah, so RAB is, what's the definition of RAB? I've forgotten the full meaning, but the RAB drilling is basically when reverse blast drilling techniques. So basically what it does is drills to say 30 meters maximum. It's not a system for drilling deep holes. It basically drills through the weathering profile, basically. So meters. So it's a rotary air blast sort of drilling, similar to the blast holes that we've got. So that's a quick overview of the blast hole. So it follows the geochem. It's an economic analysis or survey and defining an anomaly or testing a soil anomaly before you go into do a more advanced form of the drilling. Yeah, so I believe diamond drilling, we all understand. So for instance, the project I'm working on at the moment, we have what we call the discovery or the project generation team. So what they do is to take historic data, compile them, put them all together, and come up with a target and make a decision. So the decision as to proceeding with the target is based on the information that we derive with all these drilling methods. And you're sure you have a discovery. Discovery is based on the company's definition, or basically it's just an anomaly assessed to be of a possible economic importance. So it becomes real. You need to develop it to the next stage. And that stage is what we call the resource definition stage. So you do a lot of other work. You do more drilling. You do a bit of geotechnical drilling, because so it's more of a feasibility. You want to know the metallurgical potential, If it's a base metal, you want to know if it is gold. You want to know if you can mill it out of the ore. So you need a bit of metallurgical test work. So you need to put in, you collect density samples to determine the tonnage, of the ore body, and then you do your environmental studies or your environmental permits. You get approval from EPA, etc., to proceed with the project. So if you could do more infill drilling and have a good resource and have a favorable metallurgical conditions present, and geotechnically you can open pit, then you've defined a resource. And you need all this data into a system and analyze to get to a resource development stage. And the final stage is the mining stage. So that is, you need to define a reserve. So this is when the mining engineers will put in more environmental work, you do more geotechnical work, you look at other route determination, you work on further increased reserve definition and a more tighter reserve, parameters are put in place. So you have a mining asset. So something that you can mine economically becomes a mining asset. So you need the resource database. That is the parts you need resource database, and that is also another level you need a resource database. So yeah, what is a database? I keep telling people, if you don't know something, it doesn't mean it won't be able to kill you. It's better to get a proper definition of a data and a database. So a database is simply a collection of information or a structured collection of data. All right. So it could be digital data, Excel spreadsheets. It could be hard copy or soft copy files. It could be reports. It could be photographs, etc. It could be petrological specimen. It could be slides of presentation. It could be rock samples. So yes, your rock samples are part of your database. So the reference core you leave in the call box, the rock chips lying around the office, is a database. Your split core, your sample databases. So if you accurately store and index this information and they are accessible for use, they become a database. You can further put them in a database management system. And examples are Datashed, Acquire, Sentry, etc., including GIS systems. So those are all what we call the database management systems. So you should understand the difference between a database or a database and a database. Part of it, the storage on a computer system, is just a database management system. All right. So the resource data that you can derive value from should be accurate. So accurate means it should be true and it should contain facts. So logging is important. If you log of core, or let's say 10 meters of core or chips, and you've logged it wrongly, you've compromised the accuracy of the data. If the laboratory reports higher or lower values than they should, the data should be accurate. It should be factual, and we'll see why you need to have accurate data. Your database should be available and it should be accessible. So if you're storing data and pile them up on pallets and stack pallets up on pallets. I remember one of the projects I worked on, we had a consultant that wanted to have a look at some specific core, and we couldn't get and lay them up for him to view. So the data was not readily accessible. It could be that it's stored in Excel or in Access or in a folder somewhere. If it's not readily available for use, that database. If it is not secured, if it is not confidential, it has lost the quality. If it is not usable or fit for purpose, there's no point. For instance, if you want to run a resource model, you cannot run a resource model on wrap holes or echo data. It's not fit for the purpose of a resource. For instance, your data hasn't got a QAQC with it. So as part of the JOG, those familiar with JOG or NI 43101 or any of those regulatory instruments, you need to have a quality control report. You need to, if you inherit a database without the quality control procedures, you cannot successfully, classify a resource as as indicated. It can only be maybe inferred, and you cannot mine inferred resources. It should be indicated resource. Percent of your resource should be indicated before it can be mineable, So your data without QA/QC information and the procedures clearly stated for collecting the data is not fit for a JOG compliant, indicated model. Your database example, we're currently compiling some data from Queensland, and we compiling from historic drilling. Some of the reports are scanned and saved on government website. Database is made resilient. It's stored on government websites. It can be retrieved anytime, and they date back as far back as 1978, some 1958. So that's how resilient some of the data they are last longing. I mean, they've lasted long and can be used anytime they're available. I'm spending a lot of time on the quality of the database because it's the basics. If you miss this one, there's no way you're deriving any value from your data or your database. Decisions based on your database. Okay, so it is the most valuable corporate asset. The second most, sorry. Has anyone got any idea which one is the first most valuable corporate asset? If someone can type something up, I just want to make this a bit interactive. Has anyone got any idea what is the most valuable corporate asset? Reserve estimation, production plans, your mining plans are as dependent. There is no overstretching of that fact. And then again, statutory requirements demand that the data is of high quality, and the quality of the data or JOG or NI 43-101 annual audits of your resource model, they want you to demonstrate and illustrate to them that the data is quality and it's of the required quality, and you have what you say you have. We all remember or have heard of the assets. All right, so with that said, the traditional use of data that we all know is for resource modeling, like we've seen, for reserve estimation, for decision making, to buy a project or not to buy a project, you need a database, or to proceed with the project, you need a database. So I want us to look at a little bit of unlocking the value of the data. Data visualization, it's so important. What we call data analytics and reporting, it's so critical in our time today. It's very, very important that the data can be visualized. I'll explain in a very case. If the data cannot be visualized, it becomes a lot of problems. In the past, you need to go back to the collar and basically determine, for instance, meters drilled, from the collar. You need to go to the assay file to determine, the best assays. You need to go to the accounts guys to find out how much money has been spent in a week or in a month in drilling the data, etc., etc. So with the current trend, people prefer, I'll say the big bosses, management prefer to see the data in real time. It should be in real time. And for the data to be in real time, it should be basically available to view and in a format that is easy to understand. So it gave birth to what we call the analytics report and dashboards. So a dashboard is simply, and it provides the visualization for tracking, analysis, and displaying of your key performance indicators and metrics and the key data points to monitor. For instance, you want to know how your drill project is going, you need a dashboard to monitor, and we will have a look at some examples. So there are basically customization, visual customization for a particular purpose. You need to visually customize the data so that it meets a certain purpose. I'll go further into it. Behind the scene of a dashboard is your database. So management wouldn't have to go behind the scene into the database. They will just look at the front end, the surface, and they should see what they need to see in a pictorial format. Thus, would display the tables, the line charts, the bar charts, and the gauges. Okay, and it's an efficient way to track multiple data sources. Okay, so you need to create a view. If it is, I'll give you an example. So what we're doing as the database person, and I'm developing a dashboard. So I've built a view of all our operations. So all the databases of all our operations, I've built a view in SQL Server, in SQL, to pull all the data together and build a dashboard on it. So when I started up the first month, I had to do a monthly report, all the database administrators from all the sites, and ask them for information. Can you send me the drilling information? Can you send me this? Can you send me that? And it takes me a whole week to just sit down in Excel and put the data together and do graphs to managers, to management, you know? And I'm like, this is a hell lot of work for me. Because even if I take reports from the various database administrators on site, I have to put them together into one big report to report to management. You know, so sorry. So that was a lot of work. So I just started looking into this dashboarding and data analytics, and I will share with you in a short while what we managed to fuel our field by business questions. So in geology, what are some of the business questions that we can think of? Any ideas? Any ideas? What do you think as management? What are some of the questions you think of? Like within the day or within the week, you may want to ask. If you have drill rigs going, you may want to ask about drill meters, for example. Thank you very much, Jude. You know, you want to ask about the assays. Have we got any results from the lab? So these are the questions I was getting. Hey, Richard, have you got any results from the lab? Then I have to call this person, and then he has to call the lab. You know, and then I have to go onto ALS lab track to find where they were. You want to find out, okay, the graphs. Can you send me the QAQC analysis for the last batch? Maybe I send through the assays and they want to know, okay, thank you very much. Jude, yeah, so they want to know, are the standards passed? What happened to the plants? Okay, so these business questions, geological business questions, how many meters drilled per year, you know, for a day? You could imagine the nightmare I had to go through to compile weekly meters drilled for my boss from 3 exploration sites, 6 resource development sites in a month. That's a hell lot of work. The data is in different sites, you know. People want to know, have we hit all yet? Have we captured all the data? Where are we with data capturing? Have the samples be dispatched, you know, to the lab? Did the batch pass QC, like you just said? What are the best grade? You know, so like, hey, Richard, do we have any intercepts from this drilling? And I have no idea what he's talking about because I need to call this person and get the assay results and run the intercepts or get the intercept tables. So these business questions will fuel, you know, the design and implementation of the dashboard. Active data visualization, like we said. So you need to track the programs. If you need users to track the program, so my MD, my vice president for discovery, my general manager for discovery, I need to report to them. So the daily basis against benchmarks. They're waiting for the 4th hole to be drilled to say, okay, guys, pull out. It's not gonna happen, you know. We're not getting what we want. And they come in to me to feed them daily. So with the dashboard, I don't have to do anything. So the dashboard, understandable manner, what managers understand. We all know managers don't have time for the whys and the ifs and the why nots. They're interested in the data presented in a manner that makes sense to them, that they can understand. You could put in, you know, what we call gauges to say drill meters on the rig is good for this shift or not good. So you can put in all manner of things. We'll have a quick look. All right, cloud hosted. So they are cloud hosted. What does it mean? It provides enormous opportunities, for data visualization, because you can basically view the data from anywhere. You don't need to be in the office logged onto the database to be able to visualize the data or figure out what is happening. You can view it on your desk. You can display it on the wall-boss TV in the boardroom, in the corridors. People passing by can see the production figures. They can see the significant results. They can see the model, on the background. You can create public links to the dashboard to give anyone access. You can give people more detailed access to what is happening and give management what they need to see, et cetera, et cetera. So dashboards are becoming increasingly common because they allow for virtual work environments and they make it easier for teams to collaborate. Example of how a dashboard will look like on a computer. And again, this is seamless. This is based on the database. Once the geology logs and syncs the data into the database, this dashboard is available. Once the results are loaded into Acquire or data shed, this dashboard is available. Once the rig stops drilling and the plots are and this is available for the managers. So my MD on his phone, he gets a notification every day to say, new results came in. He's got some benchmarks. He wants to be notified of results above a certain grade. Alert on his phone that says beep, beep. So when he hears those two beeps, he knows, okay, we have at least 2 meters at 5 grams per ton. That's all he needs to make a decision, to give you a call, to give the guys a call to say, hey guys, well done, keep drilling. If the rigs are not performing, if they're of a certain hours, beep, beep, it goes straight to the exploration general manager. He gets a beep, then he calls the geology manager on the field from the particular site. And the question is, why so many standbys? What is happening? So he's got control of the project, of the program in a real-time fashion, thanks to dashboarding. So this is just an example of the graphs that can be produced on the dashboard, and it fits onto your phone because it's cloud-based. You can access it anytime. This is what managers expect, and this is what I never bothered with dashboards because I was, working as just a database geologist. When I was a geology manager, I still had my database skills. It was just one database I had. I could go in there, in Acquire, in Datashed, based on one database. But when I took up a bigger responsibility, I want to be able to control the work of all the geological databases from all the sites. So if there's no data going in from a site, I go in and I know the drilling is happening because the drill plots is being captured. I can monitor the data in real time. So dashboards make reporting more efficient. So users no longer need to go to multiple disconnected sources, to track their data. There's no need to spend so many hours gathering data, analyzing them, formatting them in Excel. The reason why most reports are done manually is because of the time spent. If it's to be done daily or weekly, there'll be no work done. Managers and database people or whoever is responsible for getting these reports out will spend the whole day in the week just compiling the weekly reports, if you understand what I mean. And with dashboarding, that time, configure your dashboard once and for all. You get your database guy to make sure the data comes in, and the quality of the data, as we looked at, is maintained, and there's completeness of data coming in. The dashboard works seamlessly, just on the fly, if you understand what I mean. So users, like I said, you can set alarms, and that's what the managers love most. You have any results back from the lab. Once the results comes from the lab and is loaded up into the database, the manager knows straight away. Once the sample is dispatched to the lab, he can see. He goes to his dashboard, he can see the sample is being dispatched. So all he's doing is monitoring and waiting for the results to come back. Once the results hit the database, he's alerted So you can set all manner of alarms or alerts on the dashboard. All right, so these are some of the examples of the dashboard that is still in progress. So this is about expenditure, and this intentionally wiped out the money just for confidentiality purposes. But yep, so this is actual versus budget, and that's what the managers wanted to see. So on monthly basis, my vice president for discovery wants to see the actual versus budget, and he wants to see how we're tracking. And then we've got something by site, So over here, we've got meters, drill meters, also month-to-date actual versus budget, And this is, this is the monthly version. So the manager can see, this is what he wants to see. He doesn't want to hear all the stories about the data, So yeah, these are just an example of what is possible. And it's automated. It's just the dashboard built on the that is about dashboards. So dashboards, they are softwares for building dashboards. You might have heard of Power BI. Power BI is I think it's a Microsoft. We have ClickSense. You might have heard of ClickSense. I saw another one today. It's called Domo, DOMO, Domo. And it's also pretty interesting software. So at the moment, we're using ClickSense for our dashboard is to build the views, so you can pull data. So for instance, if you're working for Goldfields, Ghana, for instance, and you are the regional database person, you are only interested in pulling data from Takwa and from Daman and putting them together and building a dashboard on them. If you have different pools data from everywhere into one location and building the dashboard on it. So the most important thing again is the view, and the view is based on the data. Moving right on, I would jump into artificial intelligence. That is another field that investigating. What is artificial intelligence? Any idea? Anyone? Am I alone, or are people there? Can someone say hi? Thank you very much, Dan. Yep. So yeah, thanks guys. Yeah, good one. So at least I know I'm not alone. Thank you guys. So artificial intelligence is it's a very interesting field. I've never thought of it. I didn't know. Thanks, Roland. I didn't know I was gonna be needing it. But just recently, I was told we need something. My boss said, "Hey, Richard, can we, when we compile data?" Yeah. So machine learning. That's also another thing. Machine learning is a subset of artificial learning, Anthony. Artificial intelligence. We'll get there. Hi, Alex. So my vice president for the discovery team, he said, "Richard, procedures." Okay. Now this is what is happening. We're compiling data from the government sources. So Queensland data, WA data. We compile. We get a contractor to compile the data together, and we put. And we have project generation team that spend time plotting it in Leapfrog and plotting it on GIS, plotting the soils, and basically generating targets that we go and test. Sometimes we try to go into JV and take data from the small companies, put them in our database, and we have people spending hours going in there to plot them up and say, "Yep, this is a good data." So we make the decision. We're gonna spend $2 million to go drill it out, and after the $2 million, we make the decision whether we go ahead with the JV or not. So we want to be able to do this on the fly. Basically, we want to get rid of the project generation team and let them machine. I was like, "Okay, are we there yet?" I thought that was the future. My boss like, "No, you got to look into it." I'm like, "Okay." Thanks, Henry, for your definition of artificial intelligence, you're right. So it's just giving machines intelligence, making machines intelligent as if they were intelligent. So it's not true intelligence, it's fake intelligence. All right, so artificial intelligence, or AI, is a wide-ranging branch of computer science that got to do with making smart machines capable of performing tasks that typically human beings will perform. That is artificial intelligence. So the job that we're doing, we want machines to do the job. We want machines to be smart enough to do our job. That's artificial intelligence. Simple as that. And it's here already. So guys, if you think, so like I said, it's getting machines to do job that humans will usually do. Making machines behave with some intelligence close or similar to the intelligence of human beings. So whenever a machine completes a task based on a set of stipulated rules to solve problems. So rules, I'm trying to make it pretty simple. So rules that are put together, rule A, B, C, D, whatever rules, to solve problems that are called algorithms. If we put those rules in the machine and the machine can solve a problem, that machine is intelligent, but that intelligence is not natural. Even I can understand, so I believe most of us on the platform can easily understand that as well. All right. So our brains, they learn. Human brains learn. We learn new information. We gather, our senses gather the information, and our brains learn from the information that our brains gather. So we're trying to feed the machine information and let the machine learn from the information we're feeding it. The difference between us and the machine is the machine can process more information than us at the moment. And that's why we turn into the machine. So we want the information. The machine is useless. It's a waste of time to try to let the machine work it out. But if you have a lot of information, data, complex data, you feed it to the machine and you try to program it, add some rules and regulations, some ifs and if nots to the machine can produce some results and solve the problem that human beings will take days or weeks to solve. So not fix, that's when we turn to the machines to fix. It's as simple as that. So yeah, anytime you think of artificial intelligence, you probably have this image in your mind. Now let's look at machine learning. Someone mentioned machine learning. So machine learning is a subset of artificial intelligence. Yeah, pit optimization. You try to pit artificial intelligence to do that as well. Good example there. So machine learning is as simple as that. The machine learning. We want to empower the computer to learn, to give the computer or the machine the ability to learn. That is machine learning. Okay. So machine learning is basically to enable machines to learn by themselves using provided data so they can make accurate predictions. And this is where my work comes in. We want to predict that there's a sound target. We want to generate projects from data that we've compiled from government sources, historic data, or from data we want to see if they should go into JV. So we want to make that decision, but we want to teach the machine to be intelligent enough to learn and predict the outcomes of these projects. How cool is that? There's another definition, we call it deep learning. So deep learning is basically also a subset of machine learning. So machine learning is a subset of artificial intelligence. Deep learning is a subset of, for realizing machine learning. Okay, in other words, it's next evolution of machine learning. So it's based on information processing patterns of human brain. So the deep learning, so the neurons, we have is that what you call them? Those brain cells, those brain spots the thinking capacity of human brain, we want to transfer it to a machine now. So it's a deep learning. We want to, the pattern, the format in which we process data, we want machines to do it. So as our various types of information, machines are also beginning. We're trying to get machines to learn patterns and get familiar with patterns so they can predict. If they see these patterns happening, they can predict what will happen next. If you've connected your phone to your car's Bluetooth, what happens? So I've been driving my kids to school, thanks to COVID. I'm working from home these days. So I've been driving the kids to school. So in the daycare, and I drop my son off. So my phone, when I get into the car and start the engine, Google comes up and tells me it's 2 minutes to my kid's school to tell me. So it's learn. Even though I did not ask Google to learn, I did not ask this iPhone to learn anything. It's just stated the pattern. Artificial intelligence is closer to us than we think, guys. My phone is stating my pattern, my daily pattern. Monday to Friday, it's stated that when I'm moving from house to my daughter's school, and to tell me it's 10 minutes away, there's no traffic. Or sometimes it's longer because there's traffic. And from my daughter's school, when I get back into the car and it connects to the Bluetooth in the car, it tells me my son's school is 20 minutes away. And then I get off the car, turn off the engine. When I sit in my son's school, it tells me home is another 25 minutes away. And when I go to pick them up, it's the same thing. And it's really amazing. Machine learning, or the deeper learning, it's already here. So learning of the pattern and how things are happening, the computers and the machines are predicting the next outcome. All right. So I'll be moving on a bit faster. So let's look quickly at the limits of today's machine learning. We'll be done pretty soon to work. It's difficult. It's got difficulty in understanding irony, humor, sarcasm. So metaphors like chatbots, robots that you can chat with. There are robots you can chat with. They don't understand humor. And if you are being sarcastic, or you are speaking in a sarcastic manner, it wouldn't pick it up. They are emotionless. They don't have emotions. So they are based on data containing human bias. So again, imprecision, etc. You feed it into the machine, and that's what it's going to work with. It cannot interpret tones and intentions of your speech. So chatbots, it's a typical one. If you're talking to a robot, it cannot really interpret your intentions or your feelings. Of course, it needs human supervision. You still need humans to set them up. It does not understand music or poetry. Of machine learning. We're almost there, guys. So in the near future, definitely machines can recommend better products. Already, my iPhone knows what I'm doing. If you browse a lot of, say, headphones on the internet, you go to your Facebook and it's telling you about headphones. It's advertising headphones to you. And you go like, I did not subscribe to any advertisements in Facebook. How come Facebook is advertising headphones? In the near future, there'll be more help for medicinal purposes. Already we've seen Rwanda is taking patients with 19 patients in isolation in Rwanda. They have robots come to them and take their temperatures, etc. In the very near future, there'll be brain-computer implants. This is a very interesting one. So computers, robots are going to have bionic eyes and arms and legs, and mind-controlled skeletons will be. Research into this was really amazing. People are making robots that you can control with your mind. It's interesting. Now, chatbots will be more common, and companies for customer interaction, they use a lot of chatbots. Very soon, when you call centers, bank call centers, there'll be a robot answering your phone call. In the medium future, it is believed that brain-computer interference will be enabled and enhanced. Brain-computer interference. So we're looking at brain interference interfaces. Sorry, that's the word. Interfaces will become more viable between humans, sending telepathic message not bound by information to a robot from your brain. Of course, most of our jobs will be automated. Most personal assistants like Alexa and Siri will be more common and advanced. Autonomous cars on suburban roads are coming. They are coming. I know Africa. That's the next phase of AI. In the medium future, autonomous vehicles will be here. I've heard they're already being designed. Uber is already working on autonomous cars. In the distant future, I think we'll see cyborgs. There'll be more robot servants and carriers available, and general intelligence. That's really interesting. So artificial intelligence is not general yet. General intelligence is what humans have, and we believe robots or machines will adopt artificial intelligence softwares. So the project that I did, I used Orange, which is an open source software, and I'm still playing with it, and it's pretty interesting. I've programmed using Orange with Aqua database for Aqua to determine when assay results are not correct. I did this, and Orange could tell me, it could have a look at all the ppb, ppm, or gram per ton set of assays, and tells me this one looks like an outlier. This one looks like it should be ppm. That was just me playing with it, and I've done the first pass in using Orange. It's just feeding the data to Orange and running basically a module and recording in Orange, and then allowing Orange now to run similar intuitive modules. And yeah, it's still going. So it's pretty interesting. Very soon, when we put data together, we can have machines tell us where we should go and where we could find ore, where we could make discoveries. So we put in geophysics data. So I'm trying to do some more. I'm trying to teach the computer to look at geophysics and determine where there are possible, ion, what do we call it, ion caps and supergene enrichment and mineralization. So yeah, these are some of the softwares available. So by way of conclusion, dashboards are a way to go. It makes life very easy. They allow users to understand the analytics that matter to their section and departments. Even non-technical users like my MD, who is an accountant, understands these dashboards. He can see and understand. It's easy to use. You can have an interactive dashboard with drill holes, and you click on a section of the drill hole and it will tell you the grade straight away. That's the next level of dashboard we're looking at. It's just a very powerful business intelligence tool, and it's awesome for vision. It brings collaboration between the team, because look, everyone that has got the software installed on their phone, on their computer, can access the dashboard on a daily basis, and it's seamless. Yep, so this is my conclusion. With regards to artificial intelligence, it's pretty interesting from my little research. I think modern computing high-powered, technology, unlike robots, will make you believe intelligent machines are not far off, from taking over our jobs and our homes. I'm not sure if I'll be here to see it, but it's very close. Look, the future belongs to people who can code, because all these things codes. It doesn't understand. It understands codes better than human language. So it's a good idea to learn some Python. It's a good idea to learn a little bit of programming and coding. Machines will never be better than humans, for sure, than us, in recognizing patterns, but we're still here, and we're still the most intelligent beings. The human brain has evolved over millions of years, and we still have complex yet efficient abilities, despite cannot be matched, by these computers. So this is where I see things going, and I'm currently right in the middle of it. So I thought I should share with you guys. So yep, this is the end of my presentation. Are there any questions or any Any contributions? Thanks a lot, Linda. Yeah, I'm happy you could make it. I know it's pretty late in Perth. Thanks a lot, Dan Bansa. Thanks, Charles. Yeah, we had some few technical issues at the beginning, but we've still managed to finish it off. Thanks, Edward, and thanks a lot, everyone, for listening.
Yes, very, very much. Thank you, I should say. It was great, as always. As usual, we're most grateful. And to all those who were able to make it today, we thank you very much. We will put this on YouTube later on for everybody to access it freely. We at WAIMM believe in providing professional development and career development as well. Yes, the trend is now to assess emerging and current technologies. And we are going to do just that. Thank you for coming over. We'll see you next week. Thank you very much.